At Fragility, we get a lot of questions of what's going on with Project and Planner and how does Copilot fit into all of this? People also want to know how the licensing they own can apply to these solutions. This next session will help you better understand all of this. Our presenter today is Rob Hirschman, partner here at Fragility. Rob has worked over the past 20 years to assist with driving solid enterprise-level project and portfolio management solutions for clients across different industries, ranging from federal, state, local government agencies to manufacturing, engineering, construction, and healthcare organizations. He's a member of our team that works closely with Microsoft as they lay out the next-gen solutions, working to provide real-world client feedback in the process. Rob, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Annie, and thanks everyone for joining today. We're really going to get into a couple of key things and a lot of questions we get from a lot of our clients. What's going on with Project? What's going on with Planner? What are the differences between these products? Where are they headed? And what does the roadmap look like? But also with all the buzz that's come out recently around Microsoft Planner, really what's new and what are some of these investments meaning to me as an end user and maybe a customer that buys these solutions and deploys them? So we'll spend some time up front going through that. Obviously, our good friend Microsoft Project is still here, as is Microsoft Project Online. We'll give you a little update into some of the key recent changes there. Also, Copilot. Everybody, all the buzz now is about artificial intelligence and large language models and Copilot. How does this relate to Project and Planner today? And what are some of the Microsoft investments they've been making to really use Microsoft project management tools as a good use case for Copilot and artificial intelligence? Everybody loves talking about licensing, and it's very, very confusing, but we'll try to demystify a little bit of that to you and explain what the different licenses of Project and Planner mean and how you can leverage maybe multiple licenses for multiple solutions, making a single investment. Well, let's talk first about what's going on with Planner, what's going on in Project, what's changed and what's new. So, the project management world, the tool world really hasn't changed for about 20 or 25 years. Microsoft took a look at the market in the mid-teens in 2016, 2017, and saw some new trends that were really out there that meant they really needed to take a turn in a different direction. One of the key trends was that, most people working on projects were spread out across multiple locations. Not everybody was in a single office anymore. Not only national, but global organizations, they needed ways to collaborate on projects and project activities in a centralized way, but have collaborative work management tools to allow people to use different approaches. And it talks to that second point that 74% of projects today are managed with different methodologies. It's not just a waterfall world or an agile world. There's hybrid, there's Scrum Fall, all kinds of different ways people manage projects. And a lot of the traditional project management tools are really based around a waterfall methodology. So you need more flexibility there. The third point is really about leaders. 92% of the CIOs that were interviewed said they didn't have the visibility into what was going on, and processes were often inefficient. So if you look at that and really management not being able to see what's going on, people are dispersed, people are using different methodologies. And then we saw the growth of a couple different new technologies. One was kind of this growth of the collaborative work management space. A lot of web-based tools that are out in the marketplace today popped up in the mid-teens, and people started just subscribing and using them. Swipe a credit card, start using a tool. Next thing you know, you've got organizations that have 5, 10, 15 different project and collaboration tools. So organizations and CIOs are starting to say, well, how can we maybe centralize some of this so I can get that visibility and insight, give people tools that are consistent, keep the data in my enterprise and make sure it's secure, but also start to leverage this investment in artificial intelligence. And that's a really, really big one. Project management is a world that really hasn't changed. It's a very manual, process-driven area. But if I can leverage AI agents and bots and technologies, I can start to streamline that process and become a lot more proactive. So, the investment that executives are making in AI technologies is really demand to leverage this on project management. So the big number on the right, the 25 million, that's a number that says there's going to be over 25 million new project management professionals are going to be needed globally by 2030 to fill over 100 million jobs in this space. And that came from PMI in a survey they did in mid-2021. So you can see the marketplace was changing, the roles were changing, the methodology was changing, some of the demands were changing, and Microsoft wanted to change along with that. So really the strategy they've taken around these technologies is really to try to look at two different angles of this. On the left, you have what we call collaborative work management, which is really kind of business management of collaboration and work and some lighter projects. This really talks to things like individual task management, having teams work together, visual Kanbans and goals, being able to look at what teams are working on, having dependencies and leveraging artificial intelligence. And then we have more complex needs around enterprise work and project management on the right. This is your more traditional project and portfolio management, where you're looking at things like Agile and Waterfall, looking at resource planning and resource management, maybe more strategic management of objectives and business goals and key results. You're looking at cost management and scheduling and portfolio management. So really, Microsoft took a look at the world and said, the space has changed. We can't really have one tool that does everything. So what they started to do is really develop a methodology and a strategy around the existing tools they had and how they were going to really morph those into the next generation. And so what Microsoft offers is really 3 services that are available in Microsoft 365 today that are really taking you from collaborative work management to full project portfolio management. And the reality is there's not a one size fits all. A lot of organizations we work with use all 3 of these tools in different places. The base tool, the Microsoft Planner, is the visual work management tool for business people that want to collaborate on tasks and activities. So Planner is really the engine behind tasks and work management in Microsoft 365 now. Planner Premium is a stepped up version of that kind of takes the best of Microsoft Project and the best of Planner and kind of smushes it together into a project management tool that's easy to use, easy to learn, very visual, but also scalable to meet the needs of an enterprise or a large group or department. And that's really a big investment area for Microsoft, kind of that business project management, lighter project management, as we move into more formal projects and programs. And then Microsoft still supports traditional project and portfolio management with a technology called Project Online, a Microsoft project, which is a full project portfolio management solution. So really, it's about where do you live, what part of your organization needs to use what technologies. There's not one size fits all. Again, you may use one, the other, or multiple tools here to meet your needs. And then with that strategy going forward, really having a bigger investment in where Planner is going, we want to talk a little bit about what's going on with Planner. The Microsoft Planner team has made some pretty significant changes over the last 18 to 24 months. So before last November, a year ago November, there were really 3 technologies Microsoft supported. They had a tool called To Do, which was task management, which lived in Office 365, it was mobile, and it was in Outlook. There was Microsoft Planner, which was the work management tool and collaboration tool. And then there was a tool called Microsoft Project for the Web, which was launched in about 2018, which was a light touch web-based project management tool really aligned with business project management. And what happened was about 24 months ago, and then it was actually launched a year ago, November, they merged these 3 technologies into one tool, the new Planner. Planner is really designed with 4 tenets. The first of those, very simple, so it's easy to manage all of your work in one place. It's very flexible, that allows people to work the way they want to work, manage the information they need to manage. It's scalable, so you can power up to bigger plans or projects or programs if you need to. Start small and grow big. And finally, it includes intelligence, the ability to really drive outcomes more efficiently with artificial intelligence. And so what Microsoft has done is they really have 2 flavors of Planner today. They have the core version of Planner, which was in the bottom left, which is the basic web-based version, which you get through Office 365 or mobile, or Microsoft Teams, by the way. And that is the quote-unquote free version of Planner. Then there's a Planner version in the middle which has premium functionality. And really the differentiator there, if you look at the left and look at the right, collaborative work management is core. That's the basic version of Planner. Project management is the premium. That's where I have organized, structured work. I have project schedules. I have milestones. I have dependencies. I want to track resources. I want to track things like goals. Maybe I want to track other information such as issues and risks and changes in status, traditional project management stuff, but also maybe manage agile projects there as well and put things into Kanban boards or do Scrum or put things into Sprint and do some sprint planning. I can do that there as well. The audiences may be mixed. You may have people in the collaborative work management space that may also be team members on formal projects, and that's completely normal to have. So think of collaborative work management as the basic or core version of Planner. Project management is the premium version. Okay? And all of this comes through one Planner hub. So when you go into Office 365, the Planner version has changed to the purple version from the green version. That's how you know you have the new one. And in most commercial tenants, it was updated a year ago, November. The GCC or the government tenants changed in about February or March, so it's about a year out there. So in Planner today, whether you're in Teams or Office 365, you will see a list of all of the plans you have. That will list your core Planner plans, your premium Planner plans, and any projects you have in the Project Online service will all be listed there as well, where you've been assigned as a team member, you own those projects. So the Planner has really become the central hub for accessing projects. If I go to the top left, there's an area called My Tasks. And one of the big lifts Microsoft made was really doing centralized task management, taking that To-Do engine and Planner engine, combining them, and allowing you to see all of your tasks across all of your Planner plans in one place. So for an end user, they can go there and that becomes their central work and task management engine. And that is built into Planner today. Additionally, they released an area called My Portfolios. And this function is really designed to help you aggregate premium projects into different portfolio views right in the Planner app. We'll talk about that. That used to be something called the roadmap in Project for the Web. Now it's been incorporated here into the Planner Hub. So you can get to all of this through the Planner Hub in one place. So when you go into Planner today, that'll tell you a little bit about the different access points here. The core version of Planner, which you see on your screen here, is what it was before. You have a plan, which is the product launch. We have 3 or 4 different views. We have a grid, we have a board view, we have a schedule, and we have charts. We also have a calendar that's here as well. And then we can drag and drop activities across these different ones, assign them to people, and be notified of those activities and keep people in the loop. And that also works with the Planner mobile app or in Microsoft Teams. And Planner has really become the work or the task management engine behind this entire platform. And that continues to be a very big investment by Microsoft. So the core version of Planner is being enhanced and continuously enhanced with lots of changes. The premium version looks very similar, except that when we go to the top, we have new functions. We not only have a grid for entering all of our tasks and activities, but you see in that grid, we have a hierarchy or a WBS, or work breakdown structure. So we can have nested activities. You can have a master schedule that has summary tasks and subtasks. You can assign team members to tasks and activities. You can progress the percent complete. You can align effort to tasks, activities, and people. You can assign a duration to activities, have a start and finish date, and also create different kinds of dependencies. So I know tasks can't start until other ones finish. So it has a real project scheduling engine, but in a visual, intuitive way. It has a board view, and the board view is going to display a Kanban board where your project manager can go and build their own buckets, drag and drop activities into different buckets, and status them all in one place. It also supports sprint planning, so you can define different sprints and drag and drop tasks into different sprints, and then update those accordingly. So you have the Kanban board. You also have the timeline, which is a traditional Gantt chart. Very easy, very visual, very intuitive. For business users or project managers can go in and build their work plans without having some of the overhead of traditional Microsoft projects. And finally, if you wanted to get into more detailed resource planning, there's something called the assignments view. The assignments is where I'm assigning different individuals. You can see the names of those individuals here, Alex and Ali and Ann and Aziz. I've got the tasks they're assigned below that, and I can start to lay out how many hours I'm assigning them during the life of this particular project. And the Planner Premium allows us to go project by project and build and assign these. And then I can start to aggregate that through some reporting and through the Power App on the back end to start looking at groups of projects, groups of resources, groups of activities, and do more cross-project or portfolio management. Finally, how does Copilot fit into this? We're going to talk a lot more about this in a little bit, but Copilot, the preview version, is now built into the Planner Premium application. So I can pull up Copilot on my right. I can ask a question like I did right here, and I can say, what's the status of this project? And Copilot, through its large language model running off of the Planner Premium data, will actually summarize this in normal English that you can then share with a stakeholder. The project is 32% complete. There's 2,000 hours of work. It started on this date. It's divided into different sections, so it understands the hierarchy. And Microsoft has been building these prompts into this to act and understand in a way where it can really help your project managers become a lot more efficient and really improve on what they do on a day-to-day basis. So the premium version includes all this, and Copilot can be a component of that if that's the direction you're going. So how do I know? I go into Planner. How do I know what version I have? Well, when I go into Planner and I click on New Plan on the top right, when I go to Create New, I'm going to have either 2 or 3 options here. The basic version on the left, that's the core version of Planner, the free version with the grid, the board, and the timeline. The premium version, the one in the middle, that's the one where you need to have a license for, and that's going to engage all of the project management functions we showed you on the previous slide. The one on the far right is actually in preview right now, and this is actually Copilot, the plan with Project Manager. So Microsoft has built some AI agents behind Copilot and Planner, connecting them together so it can help you do all of your planning and execution through an AI engine or a bot. So you have the ability to have a premium plan and a premium plan, even with Copilot embedded, where Copilot is helping you. And below that, you'll see Project Manager templates. So if you're actually in a premium version, you will see these templates right here on this screen. On top of Planner, Microsoft has enabled access to something called the Planner Power App. Behind the scenes, what's going on here is all the data in your Planner Premium plans is stored in a database called the Dataverse, which is an Office 365 database. On top of that, Microsoft has enabled the Planner Power App. And this is going to give you the ability to access and update information across your projects. So instead of looking at each project in the Planner app, I can go into the Power App here, and I can see right on my homepage a list of all the projects that I'm responsible for right now. I can also set up metadata about those projects, such as a project ID, a status, a life cycle, which we'll talk about, the department, the program it's a part of. And then I have an app on the left that's going to allow me to organize this information, track it, enable access to it for stakeholders, and report on it. So it's a way Microsoft provides us with the ability to really enable more enterprise grouping and portfolio management of this data. When I open a project, then I can do lots of things with that project. I have the schedule, which is the task list, but I can also apply a workflow to the project to have a standard set of stage gates to move projects through a workflow approval. That's built with Microsoft Power Platform's Power Automate. I can capture data below that in the form using a Power App that is part of Planner as well. And finally, I can start to report out of this with different dashboards and reports using Power BI. So if I'm starting to think about, well, I like the way people are using Planner, but I want a little more consistency, I want to enable some templates, I want to enable some reporting, I want to put some process behind it, track things like issues and risks and changes in status, the Power App is there. And the good thing is it's bundled together from a licensing perspective. So all you need to do is plan it and deploy it and align it with your business processes and the reporting needs you have. So the Power App gives you a whole lot of flexibility to expand the solution out to a whole different level. Finally, we talked about portfolios, and this is where we go to the My Portfolios area on the left, in the Planner app. When I pull that up, I'm going to be able to build a portfolio. What I'm going to be able to do is add a plan. You'll see there's a button that says Add Plan on the left. Then I can add the plans, the premium plans I have, to my portfolio. So in this case, I have 7 projects, the Cloud Odyssey, the Frontline one. I can see who the owner is. The out-of-the-box view shows me the progress, so it's going to summarize % complete on the plan. It's going to show me the start and finish dates. It's going to allow me to status this on track, at risk, or not started. So I can view a portfolio view, and then at the top, there is a roadmap button. You'll see there's plans and roadmaps. The roadmap, I can build a visual roadmap, inserting each of those projects in the roadmap, and then going and selecting tasks or activities in each plan that are important to this roadmap. And then I can share this roadmap with stakeholders. They just need an Office 365 license to view it. So Microsoft has enabled right through the Planner app the ability to get visibility into these schedules. And as the dates on these tasks move, the dates on the timeline will move as well. So it's a direct connection into the underlying projects or plans that are in Planner Premium. It's a nice feature, and it comes with Planner Premium today. Okay. This, just so you're aware, replaces the roadmap feature that was part of something called Project Home. And this has been rolling out. It's actually actively out there. It's going to fully replace the the roadmaps feature in August of this year. Okay. So really, from a comparison perspective, you have the 2 flavors of Planner. At the top of this table, you'll see the core version. That is where you can go in, comes with your Office 365 license, My Tasks, My Day, Office 365 Groups, Teams integration, a grid, a board, a timeline, and tracking charts. When we move into the premium functionality, that's really where you need a Plan 1 or a Plan 3 license. And that's where you're going to be doing more formal project management with timelines, sprints, people, goals, and activities. And really the only difference between a Plan 1 and a Plan 3 license, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is advanced scheduling. If you wanted project managers to do dependencies and lead lag and baselines, that's really where you need an advanced Plan 3 license. Otherwise, a Plan 1 license is fine. But we're going to get into licensing in a little bit. And then finally, from a customization or integration perspective, that's where the Power App is enabled. And you get that with either a Plan 1 or a Plan 3. So again, we'll get into this in a little more detail, but professional projects, for people who are building real formal projects, the Plan 3 license is the better license. It supports dependencies, lead and lag, baselines, project variances, more detailed resource planning, what's called a task history. And if you're doing any Copilot use or integration, that's where it's going to require a Plan 3 license. So if you're thinking about doing either 1 or the 3, we'll talk in more detail in a little bit. The Plan 3 is kind of the professional project manager license with more features. Speaking of projects, what's going on with Microsoft Project and Microsoft Project Online? A lot of people have said, well, is Planner replacing Project? What's the story? Project has a really rich history. Most people aren't aware, but Project was one of the first DOS-based applications that Microsoft actually came up with, they acquired, so they could show visuals on a DOS page. This was in 1984, and this is actually a screenshot of the first version of Project. And you can see the little tasks and the ID numbers and the Gantt chart. I mean, Project goes back a long way. And now it's a full-fledged enterprise project scheduling engine with a portfolio management component on top of it and detailed reporting and dashboard as well. So it's come a long way from 1984. What does this mean? Well, Microsoft is going to continue investing in a couple of core components of this. Number one, the scheduling engine is going absolutely nowhere. Microsoft knows people love Microsoft Project on the desktop. It is what a lot of organizations rely on for critical path scheduling, resource management, resource costing, baselining, connectivity into SharePoint and Project, all that stuff. That's really important. And Microsoft knows that because folks are relying on it, they're continue supporting and enhancing Microsoft Project because it is the world's most popular scheduling tool. And if we look at that project platform, you do have the project desktop scheduling tools we mentioned, and then you've got the PPM service. That's where you do your enterprise scheduling, you're going to do your resource capacity management, you're going to do any true portfolio optimization and selection. You may want to collaborate and do issue and risk management. It has a time tracking mechanism with a lot of folks using timesheets. It allows you to track costs and do governance and workflows. There's some changes there we'll talk about. And finally, just overall PPM governance. So this is the Microsoft Project platform that is being supported today. A lot of folks ask, is Planner a replacement for Project? Well, not really. The way the Microsoft team is designing Planner is based on user feedback. They're not going and saying, let's just take what's in Project and PPM and replace it. They're saying, what are people actually using in these tools that they need and enabling functionality, and then leaving the platform open for add-ons, configuration, the ability for you to really customize on your own. And that's a very different approach from Project and Project Online, which has hundreds of features and people end up using 20 or 30% of them. And there have been some recent changes to Project. One of those, if you're using Project Online or Project Server, SharePoint Designer, which is the workflow engine in Project Online, Microsoft has announced that is actually going to be sunset. Let me build this out for you. Sunset in April 2026. So that's 1 year away. So if you have governance workflows that are in Project Online today, those can be replaced with Microsoft Power Automate and using Microsoft Teams as well for notifications and approvals. So there is the ability to use the more modern Microsoft SharePoint components and the Power Automate components with Project Online if you're already using SharePoint Designer. Also, Project Online, the subscription edition, which is called Project Server SE, which is the on-premise version, includes a different workflow engine, the Windows Workflow Foundation, which will continue to be supported. So you have lots of options there. Project Server, there's a 2019 version. Support for that ends in July 2026. There is a version called Project Server Subscription Edition, or you can move to Project Online. You can also consider saying, hey, this Planner Premium and this Power App, will that meet my needs? Am I really only using that 10 or 20% of Project Server, or the Power App may meet my needs, and maybe the scheduling engine is good enough for what I'm looking for? So a lot of our clients are reevaluating that and saying, do I really need to be on a server and online when I can look at the new platform? So it's something we can definitely help with. Some additional changes, project roadmaps and project for the web. This was just announced last week. Planner Premium is replacing project for the web and the roadmap feature. This was announced last Friday. The transition is happening August 2025. So any of the project for the web projects you have in Office 365 automatically are transitioned over into roadmaps. That's happening right now, and you will see them actually in both places. So any plans or schedules you have in Project for the Web today are now available in Planner. The roadmaps, though, are going to go away in Project for the Web. You're going to need to rebuild those in the Planner Premium and in that portfolios function. Additionally, right now, you can take a project schedule you have, an MPP file, import it directly into the Project for the Web tool. That is not going to be available in the current iteration of Planner Premium. But good news, you can do it in that Power App we showed you. You can actually go in and import it there, and then that schedule will now live in the Planner Premium service. So there is a way to do that through that Planner Power App. And finally, for those organizations that are in the government community cloud, the updates at the top are all aligned with the current timelines. If you are currently in the GCC High, which is a lot of Department of Defense contractors and DoD agencies, those environments, the tools will be available in the August or September timeframe of 2025. Project for the Web was just made available, as were the roadmaps. So these changes are going to be happening at about the same times, but the updates are going to be coming in the next couple of months. So stay tuned. But with artificial intelligence and Copilot going on, what does all this mean to project management? What is the automation opportunity we're starting to see, and how are people starting to use this from a use case perspective? So if we look at it, if you're not aware of it, Copilot for Microsoft Office 365 really is an AI assistant really meant to meet people where they are from a work perspective. It really has 4 core components. The usability on the left to do Copilot chat. So you can go out and have a chat and ask Copilot questions, and it will come back with responses to those based on information on the web. You also have Copilot chat with what we call work grounding. So that's where Copilot can be ring-fenced just to your organization and your data. And that way you have central governance around it. So it's not going out and looking at all the data. It's actually looking at all the data that's in your M365 environment at your organization. There's Microsoft 365 applications and integrating Copilot into that. And finally, we're talking about Copilot Studio. This is the engine you're going to be using to design and build different Copilots and different AI agents. The key here is it is all in Office 365. It's based on your organization's standard governance, so it doesn't run wild. There's no free love with Copilot. And once you put the Copilot foundation in place with privacy and compliance, you can start to leverage this across your different Microsoft 365 apps, including Planner. And the Planner opportunity is really an interesting one. We're starting to see, we have an AI council right now, getting a lot of feedback from folks in different industries is what would they would like to see from an AI agent? What would AI do to help their organizations going forward? And we're starting to see there's really 2 or 3 different key scenarios where AI can help with project management. The first one is planning scenarios. This is where you're upfront, you're thinking about the project, you're trying to work through the work plan. How are you going to be doing the project? Things like goal setting. Or if you look at the screen here, maybe I want to define work and align that to different goals. And going into Copilot and saying, well, I really need to know, I need standard marketing tasks in this plan. Can you pull them from previous plans we have? Right? Or can you help me align these to business goals we have? Or can you align these into sections called design and testing and contracting? So Copilot can be ordered to do different things, and it will go out and do this, pulling data, structuring your project schedule, starting to give you guidance on that, starting to organize it in the right ways, even building out buckets for you. Additionally, it can help you find things. So really taking a look and saying, well, show me all the tasks that are late that are assigned to Sunny right now. And it'll go through the data so you don't have to spend an hour looking through your plan to get that kind of information. But what they call the hero scenario, which is kind of a top level scenario, how can I go about generating a plan with goals, tasks, and buckets in an automated way? So I can tell Copilot, I'm starting a marketing project. I want it to be 4 phases, and I need the typical marketing activities we've used before, and have Copilot go out and launch that and build that for you. So you think about Copilot being useful in the upfront planning scenarios and helping you really set goals and structure your plan in a useful way based on other plans you've worked on. There are then project management scenarios, and this is the blocking and tackling when you're delivering the project. That's everything from going in and update all of Sunny's tasks by 50%, expanding the scope. Task 18 needs to go for 2 additional weeks. Please make the change. Identifying risks. Are there any activities here that are going to be impacted by a change on task 4? And then, as you can see in Copilot on the right, it'll tell you what tasks are impacted by that. And then you can tell Copilot what you want to do about that. So you can triage that or even triage to nowhere. Create a new task that actually adds an additional 2 weeks so we have a buffer. It can help you check on progress like we showed you before and say, what's the status of the first phase of this task, of this project? What's the status of the project as a whole, or when are we expected to finish it? And finally, it can help you with rebalancing. Show me all the tasks that Sunny's working on where he's late, and maybe help me replace Sunny with another resource that might have availability. So Microsoft is really working through the project management scenarios that are out there right now and coming up with components in Copilot for Planner Premium that can help with this. And really the final scenario they're looking at right now is execution scenarios, when you're actually driving towards the end state of a project. This is where you're doing things like deciding on what you're going to work next. What are the next 5 or 10 or 15 tasks? Identifying the stacks. What needs to be done to complete task 15? And it'll pull up that checklist for you. Show me the people that are available that have a certain background that have worked on these tasks before on other projects. Update progress on a specific task, or find me some context. Give me some information, or show me all the documents related to this that we've worked on other projects. So during the execution of the project, these are some scenarios, and Microsoft is building out on top of the large language model in Copilot, some different questions that are typical here. So you can query it with act, decide, and do. So you have some really outstanding opportunities to really improve your business, make project managers not only more efficient and effective, but really help them do their jobs. And this is one of the top opportunities we've seen around automation, around project management, really over the last 20 years or so. So how does all this licensed? Well, Copilot in the new planner requires a Plan 3 or a Plan 5 license. It also requires access to the underlying Copilot service, meaning your organization has had to say, yes, we want to deploy Copilot, and we're going to put this in our organization, and we're going to start to ground that in governance and controls. Then Copilot will be available for scenarios in Planner. The Copilot agents are now available in both the Planner Premium web app as well as in the Power app that's there as well. So you can access them through the web app, through Teams, or through the Power app. And the Power app's going to allow you to start building Copilot components that look across all your projects versus looking at 1 or 2 at a time. Very importantly, as I mentioned before, you have to have the infrastructure for Copilot in place. It doesn't light up on its own. You really need to work with your central governance and IT group to ensure Copilot is there and it's grounded in work, in web, or both. Set the rules up for that, and then you can go and you can enable it it'll start to show up if you have the right licensing. It does not act as a standalone service. So that's a little bit about Copilot, some really exciting stuff coming with Copilot. The real question is, how do I buy this stuff? How is this licensed? If you go to the Microsoft website, it's ultimately confusing. There's project licenses and planner licenses, and you see a list of all the functions and what covers what. Let's try to demystify that for you right now. So with licensing project and planner, there's really three core licenses. There is the Planner Plan 1 license. This used to be called the Project Plan 1 license. It was renamed about a year ago. It really provides access to two things. Plan 1 provides access to the Planner Premium service with basic project manager functionality. That gives you the ability to build a project, create tasks, assign resources, and go in and update the Power App. That's Plan 1. If you're using Plan 1 in Project Online, the PPM service, this becomes the team member license. This would be for folks that are team members on projects that want to update their tasks, submit changes for approval, collaborate on documents, issues, risks, and deliverables. So the Plan 1 serves a dual purpose. And that's really nice because if you're running both services, you may be a team member on a Project Online project on a larger complex IT initiative, but you may want to also plan and manage your own work in Planner Premium. You can do both with the same license. You don't need multiple licenses to do that. That Plan 1 license will give you access to both services. So it's kind of a nice crossover. The Plan 3 license in both scenarios, Project and Planner, is the primary project manager license. In Planner Premium, it adds the Plan 1 functionality plus advanced scheduling capabilities. So if you wanted to go in and build a schedule that has a baseline, you had dependency types like finish to finish or finish to start. You wanted to see a detailed history or an audit of all of your tasks. You want to do detailed assignments views and things like that. That all happens with the Plan 3 license. So it's kind of a paywalled version of the Plan 1 with additional functionality. Additionally, it does give you access to Copilot and Planner, that preview, both in the desktop, Teams, and in the Power App. So it adds a lot of additional stuff that might be worth it for that additional cost. In Project Online, it continues to be the Project Manager license. So a lot of folks get the Plan 3 license so they can have the Microsoft Project Desktop client and they use it standalone. It also allows for connectivity into the service of Project Online and Project Server, which is full project and portfolio management functionality. So think of it really, again, that's a crossover license between both services. Buy the license once, apply it to a user, they can have access to both services. Additionally, a Plan 3 license allows users to create portfolios in that Planner app. So if you wanted to go and create a portfolio, add your projects from Planner in there and share that with people, you can do that with a Plan 3 license. The consumers of the portfolio views only need an Office 365 license. So Plan 1 and Plan 3, those are the two primary licenses. The third license is a Planner, Project and Planner Plan 5. This is designed for Project Online for people that have higher level portfolio functionality. Say you're a PMO administrator and you're running the project management office and you want to have access to do all the setup and functionality and governance in Project Online. Or if you're playing a portfolio manager role in that tool, or maybe you're doing resource capacity and demand management in Project Online, the Plan 5 license is the right license. So again, it's the higher level project management functionality, resource, portfolio optimization, selection, timesheet approvals, things like that. In Planner Premium, it's not really going to add any value. The Plan 3 is the top level license right now. But right now, it gives you access, Plan 5, to something called bookings, which is a legacy feature from Dynamics, which really isn't connected into the Planner app right now. Over time, Plan 5 may emerge as a higher level SKU or license. It's going to give you additional functionality. Right now, if you're using Planner Premium, Plan 3 will be fine. Additionally, a lot of people say, hey, I own this Office 365 E3 or G3 or G5 license. Can I get access to some of the stuff with that? The answer is absolutely. So within the Planner core service, the free version of Planner, you can go in and build and manage as many plans as you want. Tasks and lists and collaborate and all that stuff happens. In Planner Premium, you have access to view plans that you're assigned to. So a project manager with a 1 or a 3 would need to actually assign you to the plans, but then you can view the plan and then you can get notified of your tasks when you get assigned to those tasks. And then you can actually go in and you can update your progress on those tasks all in one place. So it gives those team members access without having a planner license. They can view the plan, They can go in and update their percent complete on their tasks. They can also go in and add project requests. So if you're using that Power app we mentioned, you can add a project request as a team member without having a formal planner license. So some nice functionality Microsoft added that makes this accessible. And finally, you can view the portfolios. If you went into portfolios, someone had created one for you with a Plan 3, and they assigned you as a team member, you can go in and view the portfolios and track that. So there's lots of capabilities with the 1, the 3, and the 5. Remember the functions there. They cross over both solutions. What's really important is actually choosing the solution or the solutions that are best fit for your group, organization, or department. We have a lot of clients that are selecting both. They have a business group that starts to use Planner Premium and the Power app for their business projects or their lighter IT projects. And maybe for their enterprise projects or programs, they use Project Online. And they bring the data together through Power BI. So you have some great opportunities here for consolidation. So key takeaways, the big one there, you have a choice. You can do basic collaboration and work management. You can do simple project management or full project portfolio management with Microsoft. You don't have to look to third-party solutions for this. And that's really by design. Microsoft wants to give you choices and give people across different industries the option to use these tools in different ways. That licensing really nicely crosses over, and it may seem really confusing, but if you think about buying one license and accessing multiple solutions, there's very, very few platforms that allow this today. Users only need one license to support multiple scenarios. Giving them the top level license for the functions they're going to have in one tool gives them the access to the other one as well. The nice feature here is you can offer your business users an easy project management solution. We have a lot of organizations that are, using tools like Smartsheet and Asana and Basecamp, and they're concerned because their data isn't in their cloud. They have to pay for extra integrations. They don't have secure access to the tables and the data behind the scenes. It becomes a business risk. And finally, a lot of those vendors are starting to up their costs, removing the free license now that they've got you hooked into it and having everybody pay for any use of the tool. So you can start thinking about, do I want to get off of those platforms and maybe give business users a project management tool in Office 365 so you can centrally govern it, but also give them the freedom and flexibility to use a visual tool. It's really a nice option. Importantly, Microsoft's building this on the Power Platform and having that Power app behind the scenes, it provides so many opportunities and possibilities for improvement, for capturing any data you want on your projects, for implementing any kind of processes or workflows you want on a modern web-based architecture, mobile-friendly, integrates with Office 365, integrates with Power BI and Teams. It's really a nice platform to build off of if you're thinking about putting a scalable PMO solution in place. And finally, Copilot. Copilot is new. It's less than 2 years old. It does provide some really interesting, compelling opportunities for true process improvement, for true automation, to really be able to scale project management and automate it. So hopefully this gave you a really good background into kind of where project is, where Planner is, how Copilot fits in. There's constantly changes around this. We're going to keep you up to date through our regular webinars. But we wanted to give you an update as to where things are today. With that, I'm going to hand the floor back to Annie, if we have any questions.
Thanks, Rob, for the deep dive into the current state of Project Planner, now Copilot. Sounds like there's some amazing opportunities for clients to continue leveraging Microsoft investments and skills to improve project management, whether it's traditional PMOs or business users who need to plan and manage projects, but need easier, more intuitive solutions. Let's see if there's any questions in the queue for Rob. Type now or forever hold your peace. We've provided some links to resources you may find helpful. First is our YouTube channel, which has over 75 videos posted, ranges from tips and tricks and how-tos to ways to improve portfolio and resource management using the technologies covered today. Our blog is a great resource for more guidance on how to do certain things in the tools, like use enhanced resource tracking, improve reporting, get better day-to-day planning with Project and Planner. If you're interested in improving your use of these tools, we'd highly recommend you check out the Project and Planner LinkedIn user community, which now has over 29,000 members. It's a great place to learn from other experts on these tools. Finally, if you have specific questions about how something works or are interested in further exploring the use of these solutions for your group, division, or department, please reach out to us at the email addresses listed here. Your internal IT and support teams can assist with getting you access to the licenses, but we here at Fragility specialize in the implementation, training, customization, and support to best align these tools with your business processes.